Hi, I'm Cherron Inko-Tariah from the Power of Staff Networks, and today I'm going to be talking about how networks contribute to the overall inclusion in the workplace. I think networks can contribute in a number of ways, but today I'm going to focus on just three. And the first one is insight. According to Forbes, the employer experience is one of the top three trends that employers need to be mindful of going forward over the next couple of years. And when we talk about the employee experience, it means, how they view their place in the organization, how they view the organization, whether their values align, how they feel about working where they are, etc., etc. And it's evolved from employee engagement and employee satisfaction. So when we think about what networks are set up to do, they are there to bring people together, to encourage, to provide that care and that support, but they're also there to create a space where people can share about their lived experience and what it's like to work in the organization if you're from a particular background. And when they gather that intelligence, which can be really powerful, and begin to articulate that to the decision makers, to the powers that be, and really share and say, listen, this is what you think it's like, but the reality is these are some of the barriers and challenges and obstacles that our members face by procedures and processes and policies that are in place that doesn't work for everyone. Not everyone gets a fair chance because of certain things that are in place in this organization. So they can start to really bring insight to influence culture, influence, how things are done. And I think that's a really powerful place to be in, because we know that when people feel that they have a sense of belonging, when they are listened to and they're heard, they've got that, that support, then that goodwill contract kicks in even more. The psychological contract is strengthened and productivity is increased. So that's a huge way that networks contribute to the organization by bringing their insight. So in addition to bringing their insight, they also can bring their innovation and their ideas and their creativity. Now, there's this great quote that says that diversity is the breeding ground of innovation, and I agree with that. But I would like to say that if that's the case, then employee networks are certainly the incubators, because it's where people come together when they're thinking about how can we solve this, how can we make this work. That's when the ideas start to bubble up. That's when the magic begins to happen, because people are feeling, okay, we could do this, we could do that, and it's all coming into the pot. And I think when networks start to do that, when they really start to utilize the skills of their members, when they tap into their cultural intelligence, when they think about who they know and what they know and their experience, and then turn that around into some solutions, that's powerful. So, let's think about how networks can bring some of those real life practical solutions to those real life challenges that people are facing. And when networks start to do that, they begin to be this impetus for change. What does that actually mean? When you're an impetus for change, it means that you are stimulating something to happen. And if we think about how policies have changed because of networks raising a voice, we've seen changes to, parents and carers and flexible leave and all sorts of things, policies, recruitment policies, blind recruitment now, too many to mention. But this is what happens when networks begin to step into their realm of influence. Think about how they can use their innovation to be that impetus to stimulate ideas of change that can happen in an organization. So we've seen that, when they are articulating their voice, they're being that employee voice, they're amplifying the employee voice. When they are being that critical friend to the organization, that bringing that real strong, challenge, but in a constructive way, because at the end of the day, all networks want is to make work better for their members, therefore making work better for everyone. So let's look at those three things in summary. It's about insight, innovation, and they can be an impetus for change. these are just 3 ways, and there are many more, but these are the 3 ways that I think networks really contribute to helping organizations be more inclusive. And this is what happens as a result. There's a number of benefits that happen for both members and the organization. So for members, they are being represented, people are speaking up on their behalf in a way that's going to help improve their work experience, because that's what we want. We want their employee experience to be enhanced, and we want them to be talking positively about where they work. So networks are a great way of being that voice. Secondly, when you're involved in a network, one of the great benefits is that there's an opportunity for that continuous professional development. We know that people involved in networks are often doing it in addition to other priorities, shall we say. I don't want to say the day job, but it is often seen as an add-on. But I think networks are, the work involved in running a network is a priority too. But the point is that you can get an opportunity to learn new skills or enhance skills that may not be afforded in other areas of what you do. The other thing is that there's a sense of pride that starts to spring up amongst your members. They feel proud to be part of something that's doing something for good. It's a force of good. And, people like to feel that. They feel that they're part of a family, they're part of something positive, and that can really enhance well-being in the organization. And there's trust that's strengthened between a group of employees and their employer. So that's just some of the benefits that can happen. For the organization, you are building a cohort of confident, strong, compassionate, inclusive leaders. If you think about who your network leaders are, and if we invest in their capacity and their capability, that's what you're doing. You're feeding the pipeline of these ready-made leaders who are passionate about the agenda, and can be the next generation of compassionate and inclusive leaders that's needed. The other thing that networks do when they're being effective is that they contribute to the commercial aspects of the business. Now, every business has a bottom line. Your bottom line could be pounds and pence. Your bottom line could be better patient care. It could be better services delivered. Whatever the case may be, you have a bottom line. And if you think about how networks are placed in the organization, they understand the business, but they also understand how to reach the most disenfranchised and how to bring people together. That's powerful, because when people feel that they are part of something, the productivity increases, and that has a direct impact on the commercial aspects of a business. And the other thing that networks do is they make the employer look very, very attractive. Oh yes, because they play a key role in recruiting as well as retaining staff and developing talent. And that leads to your organization becoming one of choice rather than chance. Yeah, you become the preferred option rather than the backup one. So when we think about all these other things that networks are bringing to the table, when they are given an opportunity to demonstrate how they can contribute to inclusion in the workplace, we see a number of benefits that come through. So for any organization watching this or any network watching this, let's remember that together we can really enhance the employee experience, we can make work better, and it's for networks to tap into their power and for organizations to embrace that. Because once we do all of those things together, it's a powerful, powerful mix. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. If you have any questions, drop me a line, and I look forward to hearing more about what your networks are doing where you are. Thanks.